the bed, I want you to know, we need to relax, we got to get wise and whatever, so we need to get down on our knees and pray. Pray for what? Pray for who? Pray for me, brothers and sisters, and pray for you. We love you. We love you.
Let me first begin by thanking all of you for being here tonight despite the rain. It's not easy to be supportive, and I'm grateful to you. We don't have enough time. We often find ourselves making decisions between work and family with very little spare time on our hands. So I'm truly grateful for you, all of you, for being here. I want to thank Jackie Acevedo for those kind and heartfelt words. I want to thank Reverend Q for that beautiful blessing. You truly are a wonderful person, and we're proud to have you, and we're grateful to have you amongst us tonight. I want to thank Salvador, the saxophone player. That was quite a decent surprise, and I think he deserves a quarter. You know, the last 7 months, I was elected into office in November and took office in January. They've been the most rewarding, yet the most difficult for me and my family. And not difficult because of the work, but as some of you know, difficult because I recently lost my father after a long battle with Parkinson's. But rewarding as well, in that I've had the privilege of serving not only the people of the 80th Assembly District, but the people of the great borough of the Bronx and the state of New York. So let me begin by telling you the last 7 months, and I promise to do it in a few short moments' time. My experience in Albany has been tremendous. I'm happy to report to all of you, I found the elevator and no longer takes stairs. In Albany, we made some great accomplishments. We passed a bill, we passed a budget, a bit painful, but passed it on time. We debated bills, some that I'm proud of, some that I'm not sure of, and some that I'm disappointed in that never made it to the floor. I even introduced a few of my own bills. One that I'm really proud of, 7483. It's a bill that requires on an annual basis that the state of small business be reported. Now that's very significant, because what that means is that on an annual basis there will be a report that focuses on small businesses. How many of us here are small business owners? That's right. Well, let me tell you what the state perceives as small business. Under the category of 100 employees or less. The SBA says a small business is 500 employees or less. Now I know the people in this room, and I don't think any of them fall in that category. The business I refer to as a small business, like many of you, are the commercial corridors that are in our neighborhood. The mom and pop shops, those micro businesses, the ones that have less than 25 employees, the ones that don't have a voice in Albany because they're so busy working their businesses. That's why this bill is so important. I introduced another bill, a bill that will be able, for a lifetime order of protection can be issued in cases of aggravating circumstances. That authorizes, it deserves a hand of applause, which authorizes criminal and family courts to issue lifetime orders of protection in the presence of some rare but disastrous circumstances. I'm only going to name a few of the bills, and the last one I'm going to mention is a used oil bill which we're working on now, which prohibits the sale of used heating oil. Now, some of the landlords in this room know what I mean. When you're paying $4 a gallon for heating fuel, whether it be for a home or a building, you expect to get the product you paid for, and not one that has been mixed with recycled oils and the BTUs are not there. That affects all, from homeowners to tenants to landlords. Although Albany has been a wonderful opportunity to serve and impact in a positive way so many lives, I can't help but share with you that I'm much happier when I'm back in my district amongst you. That's because of the dedicated staff and amazing volunteers that I have. Some of those accomplishments that I've done with them is that my office, since January, has resolved hundreds of constituent cases. And we're able to hold events and programs such as Bronx Day in Albany, which Jack referred to, where more than 400 Bronxites participated in that trip to Albany. The intent of that day, if you recall, and I have to stand corrected on this, when I was running for office, campaigning, I promised that I would bring Albany to the Bronx. I was wrong. I had to take the Bronx to Albany. We held other programs and activities. One that I'm fond of, the Graffiti Removal Awareness Program, the Paint Straight Program, as we refer to it. See, graffiti was plaguing our neighborhoods, and our response all along has been to go clean those walls and repaint them. You clean them today, and they're back up a few days later. So I took a different approach, a proactive approach. I took it to the high school kids. Worked it out with the schools, brought them to the auditorium and explained to them what they were doing. And explained to them that they were actually breaking the law, that they could be arrested for, and be responsible for repairing those properties that they had destroyed. It went a long way. My office held or issued more than 1,000 certificates of merit to graduates of several schools. Certificates honoring individuals and groups by recognizing their accomplishments and their achievements. Another proud program that we did. During Black History Month, I went to every elementary school in my district, had all the kids in the auditorium, and we started talking about the importance of Black History Month and what it meant. And I asked those children to name a famous African American, and they'd go down the normal list. And I'd ask the question, why? And there's one story that I want to share with you. This little girl raised her hand, and I said, yes, what African American would you like to know? She said, Rosa Parks. And I says, great, what did Rosa Parks do? Now this girl was in the 8th grade. For the life of me, I can't remember her name. She was 8 years old, roughly in the 4th grade. She turned around, she was of Italian descent, and said, she made it possible for me to sit next to my best friend, Lisa, who was African American. I share that with you because it brought tears to me that it took an 8-year-old girl to put things in perspective for me. What else did we do during the last 7 months? During Volunteer Week, we did street cleaning, graffiti removal. We even held a senior spa day where we visited senior centers and painted their nails. Now I can tell you there's nothing more exciting than watching a 90-year-old get her nails painted for the first time, and the girls painted them different colors. She'd walk around with her hands in the air and say, don't touch me, my nails are wet. These things were intended to improve the quality of life. Things I mentioned were meant to reach out to those in the community in our district, in our borough, that may have been neglected. We went further. On Mother's Day, I personally gave out 1,000 flowers. For Father's Day, I gave out handkerchiefs. Valentine's Day, with the help of local children, we had to make up Valentine's Day cards, and we gave them to the seniors. When you see the expression on these people with such a little token, they're so grateful. It goes a long way. It doesn't take a lot. We held a teacher's breakfast and recognized all the teachers for their hard work. We got some teachers in the room? There we go. During the Black and Hispanic Caucus Weekend in Albany, I supported Pat and Alethea Williams in taking 40 inner city children to Albany for the weekend. Participated at Lehman College at Take Back the Night, a protest against sexual abuse. We held a mayoral forum at Columbus High School, the theme which was "The Bronx Vote Must Be Earned." For the NYCHA protest, I provided buses for all those tenants to go and protest. Let them share their stories, make it easier for them to not only get there, but be heard. Because the conditions that they live in and are subject to on a daily basis is wrong and immoral. And no private landlord would be able to get away with that, but the city does. We gave out school scholarships to the youth, and we did so much more. I only mention these to let you know not only what I've been doing for the last 7 months, but to also admit that I could not do it by myself. Without your support, my staff and those volunteers, it would not have been possible. And as I often say, and I can't say it enough, I'm only as good as the people in and around me, and I have the best. I have all of you. You all deserve a hand of applause, so give yourselves a big hand of applause. Actually, I have to applaud you tonight for all that you do and continue to do, not only for me, but for the borough and for this state. I also share with you some of my upcoming events. On August 8th, I, with Michael Benedetto, Assemblyman Benedetto of the 82nd Assembly District, will be taking up 600 seniors to Pomona, New York for the day. On August 18th, I'll be having International Family Day at Clinton High School in the Bronx. See, we do many events and activities, and there's some phrases that don't go together. We don't use that word international enough, let alone when we say international family. At that particular event, we are going to honor nearly 200 people, one from every nation known in the world, because that's what we are. We are the most diverse borough in this country. And that's not a weakness, that's a strength. And as we introduce cultures and traditions to one another, we embrace them. And it's with that thought in mind that I have another event being held on August, and that's August 24th, the International Food Festival. What better way to share tradition and culture than through food, where we start appreciating various cultures. We're also working on International Music Festival that'll be held sometime this year. In the future, I share with you my plans. And no, Borough President, you're safe. I share with you that not only do I look forward to moving my district office from Pelham Parkway to Lydic Avenue, I share with you that I plan on getting a mobile office so I can better serve not only my district, but get to the far corners of it. See, as a public servant, I have a district office. And you're expected to come find me in your time of need. Not so easy. So I'm going to make sure I find you and make it as easy as possible for you to get to me. I plan on being very active in the 2013 local elections, such as supporting Richie Torres for the 15th council race, and more importantly, supporting Bill Thompson for the next mayor of New York City. Now, both of those gentlemen are out there right now working those streets and knocking on doors because that's where they belong. They could have been here with me tonight. They offered to be here. And after a small, short conversation, it was mutually agreed that I would proudly represent them here tonight amongst you, my friends, my family, my supporters, and that they can be knocking on the doors of strangers and introducing themselves to the public. Because we need good people in office. And Bill Thompson has a reputation and a record of being the right man for this job. Not only was he the president of the Board of Education, he was a city comptroller. He has the history, the experience, and the knowledge to address the needs of this city. And I proudly endorse him and encourage all of you to endorse him and support him. I mention all of these tonight because the fact is, most of these events and programs and agenda were only possible because of the support and the generosity that I have from all of you, for which I'm grateful and will never forget or take for granted. Moving forward, I will continue to focus on what's most important: creating new jobs, good paying jobs. That deserves a hand of applause. And when I say creating jobs, I don't mean shifting of jobs because we bring them from one part of the city to another, from one part of the state to another. Creation of jobs. Working with our local elected officials to do that, such as Borough President Ruben Diaz. I'll focus on improving the quality of life for all, addressing the needs of our seniors, because there's a debt that we owe there, and doing right by our children by investing in their future, their education, and by being a true voice for all of you in the Bronx and in Albany. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I know that much has been said here tonight. I just wanted to come by and show my support for Mark Gjonaj. You know, the one thing that we've all been doing together is concentrating on the small businesses, concentrating on job creation, making sure that collectively all of the elected officials are speaking in one voice, whether it's to City Hall, whether it's to Albany, or the federal government, so that the Bronx is now respected and we get our fair share and our due credit. I'm here today because in Mike Benedetto and Mark Gjonaj, I need those partners up in Albany. We need those partnerships up in Albany. This is the way that we're going to make sure that the Empire State Economic Development Corporation continues to invest in our businesses. This is the way that we make sure that moving forward, we have those 4 Metro North stations in the eastern corridor of the Bronx. one in Hunts Point, one in Dorchester, Morris Park in Cobb City. I don't want to take too much of your time, but Mark, I do want to say something, come here, about you. The one thing that's impressive about him, and I'm going to dare say it, he has the weight on his shoulder. He doesn't have the luxury that I had as a Puerto Rican where pioneers opened the door for me. Mark Gjonaj is a pioneer for the Albanian community. There's a certain responsibility, a certain weight that comes with that. It's heavy. It weighs down on you. But the most impressive thing about Mark is his equilibrium. The most impressive thing about him is his balance and how he can hold that to that responsibility and make his Albanian community proud, and at the same time not neglect the rich diversity of his district and the rich diversity of our borough. And he does it in a way that even in loss, when he lost his father, he still organized that Bronx Day up in Albany. It was one of the proudest moments of my borough presidency, to go up to Albany and see that and make sure that everyone up there knew that the Bronx is in the house and the Bronx is in business. He's firm, he's strong, his feet are planted. And I'm here today to say, Mark, I enjoy your partnership. Let's keep moving forward. We're going to kick butt as a borough. Congratulations and thank you all for coming out and supporting Mark.
Let me tell you something. It didn't happen right away. It happened over time, week by week, month by month, that I began to really hate Mark Gjonaj. And let me tell you why. Because before Mark Gjonaj came along, I was known as the hardest working assemblyman in Albany. And now he has set the bar so high that it's not just me who hates this guy, it's all my colleagues. But that's a good bar to try to cross over. Mark Gjonaj has set a gold standard to be a representative in the borough of the Bronx, and we're all envious, and now we're going to try to compete with Mark Gjonaj, and that's a good thing. I used to be a school teacher. And the main thing I did when I was teaching was that I set high standards for my kids. I set the bar up here and made them all strive. Mark is doing that in Albany. He has gotten his results as a freshman assemblyman up in Albany. He has wowed them all just as he has wowed us in the Bronx. He's great, and we love him, and we want him to stay for a long time. Thank you for supporting my buddy.
Left a short while ago.
We all know Joe, and Joe was very fond of Mark. Mark was like a brother to me. I know Mark maybe 3 years. And they said it couldn't be done, you know, and it was done. And he's done, like Mike says, they probably hate him because he's such a hard worker. I think the guy is incredible. I mean, we have such a diversified community, and he handles it with such poise and grace that it's incredible. And to work for Joe is an honor to me, but you have these incredible politicians. You're very lucky in this area to have so many great politicians. We got Ruben, we got Mike, we got Jeff, we got Jimmy Vaca. I mean, we got an incredible bunch of elected officials here. And Mark is just into the top of the pie. I mean, it's just great. I want to personally say how much I love this guy. I really love this guy. He's like family to me. And you know what? When Mark started, you know, Mark talked through his heart, not through his mouth. You know, and that's what people see. They seen how sincere he was and compassionate what he was about the people of the community. So, on behalf of Joe, and I love when Joe don't come to these things because I get to say things and how I feel about people like Mark. So I want to just congratulate Mark and everybody else. I want to thank everybody for coming. And like I said, after all our eloquent speakers, I'm just a nice guy. I love you all. Thank you.